Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome back to some more VGC. So we're just going to kick off. We've actually found an opponent straight away, which is really cool. The goal for today, we are using the same team, but the goal for today is to actually try and use a Regieleki and Tapu Koko. As we're versing Sun, paired with a Regieleki, Landorus, Metagross, and Whimsicott. So basically our opponent really wants to go fast. I think the biggest threats currently is that Regieleki, just because Celesteela is like very good against our opponent's team outside of the Regieleki. So we're gonna have to try and find a way around that. I don't really have one outside of Dragonite. So, how do we want to play this? We'll lead our own Regieleki. Tempted to lead Suicune, but Suicune's not a bad lead. Well, I think Dragonite, Celesteela. Suicune or Cinderace? I feel like if we bring Suicune, we have to lead with it, right? I feel like Regieleki is the... Yeah. Suicune's not bad. It helps with Landorus, helps with Torkoal. Helps with Metagross to a degree. Yeah, let's bring Suicune. Hopefully we won't time out. I think we're fine, hopefully. If not, I don't know what we do. But yeah, a bit of an awkward matchup. I would imagine that their Regieleki is the like light screen reflect set. Maybe with like Volt Switch and Thunderbolt or something like that. So maybe Whim's got Metagross, okay. Get the Regieleki and the Dragonite out. I mean... So they have Landorus potentially in the back, and I don't know why you wouldn't bring Landorus, to be honest. So I think I'm pretty happy just going for an Electro Web. It's going to do a fair amount of damage. Because Whimsicott can just Tailwind here. And Metagross could go for Max Ice, it could go for Max Ground, Max Steel Spike. I just think... I mean, Dragon Dance, the problem is, yeah. It's no Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance in their frickin' face. What I realistically should have done there is switched out Dragonite into Celesteela. That was very dumb of me. So that right there is just a bad play. I'll freely admit that. And this Metagross has to be running a ton of speed to outspeed Regieleki. And no, I'm not forgetting about Clear Body too, by the way. I am Electro Beam, but I wanted to make sure I had the Landorus switch covered, so maybe I'm playing a bit too safe. But we'll see. See what it wants to go for. Okay. Connect the Electro Web, get some really solid damage on that Metagross. It's Mindstorm, okay. So, makes me wonder, because generally Metagross wants to have a Steel move, a Ground move, an Ice move. So they actually might be Assault vested as opposed to Weakness policy. Okay, Dragonite gets a little bit faster. Alright. Bit of a rough turn one for poor old Regieleki, but that's okay. I think I want to Steel Spike. I think Airstream first is fine. I actually really wish I had Protect right now. Really wish I had Protect. Just Dragon Dance again. See if we live the turn. That way with the Airstream plus a potential Dragon Dance, Dragonite is at +3 speed. which should mean it outspeeds the majority of our opponent's team. Outside of Regieleki. So we'll see. Other than that, it might just be Celesteela trying to carry. And we know it's not eject button, Wim's got to. Okay. Procs a weakness policy. But I imagine Dragonite's actually going down here. Yeah, I'm kind of just playing the, like, copper hit from... I could have Earthquake there, to be honest. Now I think about it. I didn't know if the Whimsicott was going to hit me. Yeah, it's Hailstorm. Okay, that's fine. I'm actually okay with that. It means Celesteela gets out of this turn with no damage. And the benefit there was, like, and again, it's a high risk, high reward. It's a super aggressive play on my part. But the benefit there is we... yeah, Celesteela takes no damage, and let's say they targeted down the Celesteela, Dragonite is, yeah, effectively faster than everything. But once I saw Dazzling Gleam come out, I was almost certain they were targeting the Dragonite. Just because they wanted to break the multi-scale. Alright. Yeah, I really didn't think Dragonite would have been faster than Metagross under Tailwind with just a +1, if that makes sense. And Regieleki is in the back. That kind of makes sense, I guess. Okay, what does more? So Celesteela will be faster than Suicune. What do they potentially have in the back? I wonder if they just brought Torkoal. I'm just wondering if Steel Spike into Scald is enough to KO. I feel like it's not, but maybe we have to go for it. Let's see. Thunderbolts. Okay. We take this. Just. Holy crap. I didn't expect that to kill. Okay. Whatever you say, boss. A burn would be really nice here. Hey! Ask and ye shall receive. So that's the end of the Metagross's Dynamax. Do we get hit into our berry range? No. Never lucky. Yeah. Obviously the burn's super lucky. Skull still one of the best moves in the game. It is Landorus too. Come on, man. Okay. We do have one more turn of Dynamax. The Suicune has a defense boost, which may come in handy. We just Steel Spike the Landorus. Tempted Tailwind, but I don't see a point in that. Steel Spike into Ice Beam should be a guaranteed knockout. I mean, I'm +1, so... Landorus could also protect. Oh, crap. I actually forgot that was an option. I'm not gonna lie. Then Headbutt. Okay. Knocks this into a berry. Alright. The fly was interesting. I mean, I see why they did. Obviously, I double targeted. I had to double target that slot. But... yeah. Tailwind out. Now the question is, so Celesteela... Nah, Celesteela should always be slower than Landorus. Should. So we're gonna Flash Cannon that slot. And... Scald. I think Scald is a better play now because if Flash Cannon KOs, at least Scald will land on the Metagross. Yeah, it's doing a lot more damage than I thought. Okay. Alright, it's dead Landorus. We know that Suicune and Celesteela are both faster than Metagross. And I was about to say, as long as we avoid a crit, we should be okay. But yeah, the burn really sealed it up for us there. And I'll say this, like, what the burn did is it allowed me to play even more aggressively. Like, it allowed me to target, like, double target the Landorus, you know, even against the idea of a protect, things like that. Without having to fear the Metagross, really. Like, it literally let me just stop and go, well, alright, I'm just not going to target this Metagross. I think a Flash Cannon into Scald probably would still KO this Metagross, so realistically I shouldn't be showing off Flamethrower, but I just want to guarantee the win. It's another game where we get pretty lucky, but yeah. But definitely I think the biggest mistake I made was Dragon Dancing twice with the Dragonite, but in saying that, I don't think... I never thought I'd be, like, that much faster than the Metagross. That kind of threw me off a bit. But yeah, I mean, our opponent's entire game plan there was, like, I guess... just use the Metagross, and that failed as soon as Celesteela came out, and they even had the Regieleki for the Celesteela, and you just saw that a Thunderbolt did less than half when I was Dynamaxed, which just shows the value of Assault Vest. But okay, got another match here against Killua. Okay, so our opponent almost certainly brings the Raichu, right? And then there's also a Garchomp to contend with. But there is a Moltres, there is a Tapu Fini, there is a Kartana, and there is a Incineroar that, you know, Regieleki and Tapu Koko are actually really well against. The question is, what does our opponent bring to start with? But I feel like you have to bring the Raichu. I mean, look at my team and look at a Raichu, right? And do you bring the Garchomp though, is the other question. I think I'm going to lead Dragonite again. I feel like that's a good lead. Gonna lead the Suicune. Suicune helps with Incineroar, helps with Garchomp, kind of Moltres. It can set up Tailwind on Tapu Fini. Do we bring Celesteela here? It's pretty good. Alright, screw it. Celesteela, and then we'll bring Koko and Regieleki in the back. Now, this straight up may be a terrible idea, but we're doing it. We don't have Tailwind, and that could be big. And something I just remembered too, actually, yeah, because I don't think Moltres gets Tailwind, but I know that Kartana, Kartana used to. I don't know if it does anymore. I should really just check that out. Alright, Moltres and Incineroar. Okay. Now, Celesteela really doesn't do a lot against an Incineroar. And Dragonite is now at -1. And there's also potential for Fake Out. Attempt just to Dynamax. I'm not going to, but I'm tempted to. Okay. Do I have Gleam on here? Actually, screw it. I can see them making no other play than faking out the Dragonite, but anyway. It's fine. What is Airstream Moltres? They're Dynamaxing. I assume it's the Moltres. Or it could be the Incineroar. I could be getting Max Fled into my Celesteela and I could be in a lot of trouble. Nope. Okay. I thought they might have tried to go for a nasty plot. Because a lot of Moltres tend to try that stuff. Okay. It's one of those matchups where I'm heavily relying on Celesteela just to be able to tank so many hits. And I'm also assuming that an Airstream does less than 50% to a Moltres, so I really don't want to give it the special attack boost. Or a potential weakness policy boost. Into the Dragonite, yeah. I'm so dumb. Anyway, it's fine. They're Airstreaming too. Ah, damn, man. That's so much damage to Dragonite. Poor Dragonite. So there is some benefit to a inner focus Dragonite, I suppose. The double into the Dragonite is just weird to me, but anyway, what do I know? Okay. I'm gonna attempt Dragon Dance again. Airstream probably puts it into range, which I don't want to do. I really don't have that many hits for the... like, I don't really have that many moves for an Incineroar. The reason I Dragon Dance again is I actually assume I made an assumption that my opponent would think I would protect the Dragonite. But clearly not. Unless they thought an Airstream was like a guaranteed KO. Okay. Parting shot Incineroar. So the Moltres is at +2. Kartana comes out. Let's see how well it takes a -1 Airstream. It'll be neutral. Okay. Does over half, which is nice. So what is it? It's at +2. So Moltres is base 85. I don't know how fast base 85 gets. But I feel like Regieleki... I feel like Regieleki outspeeds at 252. No, base 85's not that slow, is it? Man, now I'm questioning myself. One of those things where sometimes I do wish I was looking stuff up. Okay, like half typing away on my phone here. Let's see if I can pull it up, just so I know for next time. Alright. Last turn of Dynamax for our opponent. I'm gonna protect an Airstream. Because as I said, the last thing I want to do is activate this Moltres, especially while it's under Dynamax. Okay, Kartana switches out into the Raichu. Oh yeah, I mean, we knew the Raichu was coming. Okay, Galarian speed is 156 if it's Timid max speed. So yeah, it would have been at like 300 if it was Timid. Okay. Alright, nice healthy damage onto the Raichu there. And our Tapu Koko is now more of a speedy boy than it was. Raichu could have Fake Out here too. So our opponent's like very heavy like Fake Out. Which makes sense in this kind of format because the format is very heavy on like flying types. So that tracks. Cannon Airstream. Man, Celesteela was, I guess, a pretty bad call because I really don't have a lot for... Like Giga Drain's doing nothing too. Trying to cover for a potential Incineroar switch in. And you'll have to excuse me, I feel like I'm about to cough too. Hang on, did I Dazzling Gleam? Yeah, I did. Sweet. Yep. So I assume it's Fake Out into Koko. Yep. Yep. Not a huge surprise. Okay, nasty plot. Yeah, it's fine. It's really not doing a lot, huh? Alright, this game might be an L. It just... Yeah, I really didn't bring the right tools to deal with Moltres. I maybe should have led the... Incineroar? Yeah, no huge surprise. I should have led the... Probably the rare time where I should have actually led Koko and Regieleki. Especially since I had Electro Web. Okay. Really, like, I get that they're cycling fake outs. Like, I understand this. Problem is Regieleki is just gonna go down to a hit, right? What if I do... I actually really need to cycle out the Celesteela since it's still -1. So a bit of a long game, but yeah, I think I'm very sure our opponent just wins this in the end with fake outs. Just because I don't have a lot of protect options. And Regieleki probably dies to this. Yeah. This Fire Wrath is very silly. Yeah. Literally just enough to put into the Zerk range. Alright. Bring back in Koko. Koko's a bit more valuable here because of having Dazzling Gleam too. So if you're my opponent, you know I'm just going for a Dazzling Gleam, but you might still try and cycle in Raichu anyway. Do we know what their last is? It's Kartana. So I'm going to attempt to go for a Thunderbolt here. And Air Slash the Incineroar. But I think Raichu might come in, but... Okay, that's fine. So the better play there, because I kind of thought the Moltres would protect. But the thought process there was I probably should have Thunderbolted the Incineroar. Yeah. Alright, we had a flinch though. No more electric terrain. Okay, now we Dazzle and Flash Cannon Moltres. Yep. That's Raichu. Okay, hopefully we live this. Yikes, man. Taking so much damage. Okay, I really need this Dazzling Gleam to KO. Wait, how did Koko flinch? Oh my god, I flinched to the friggin' Fiery Wrath. Really? That is the most upsetting news I've heard all day. I think I have to, yeah. Damn, man. That's extremely unfortunate. The Protector's obviously, you fake out the Celesteela and use Fire Wrath again. It's, yeah. Never mind? Question mark? We don't flinch, we might be in with a chance. The problem is the fake outs. Or it just KOs me. Did it crit? Or did it just do that much last time? Alright, I mean that sucks. But I mean, hey, you win some, you lose some by the RNG, right? So very long drawn out battle where we just eventually Yeah. So say the Koko doesn't flinch there to the Fiery Wrath, which I think it's like a 20% chance, Dazzling Gleam probably KOs the Moltres, especially with the special defense drop. Then the Raichu might go down, maybe not, but Incineroar comes back in, or Kartana, but the Celesteela is faster than all of them. Obviously it can't protect, so we're still dealing with a fake out cycling thing, but yeah. Unfortunately with this team, like, we were a little bit weak to fake out. I think Suicune would have been a lot better to bring than, I don't know. We gotta swamp it. That's something interesting. Another Incineroar, another Moltres. It might be weakness policy swamp it, looking at that. Oh, actually, weakness policy Moltres, potentially. Swampit's the only thing that's going to take an electric move from a Regieleki. Obviously because it's ground type. You know, that tracks, right? Celesteela is very good here, it helps deal with the Swampit. We really need something for this Glass Trio. So... the other thing we need to watch out for, and this is very important to remember, is that Comfey gets Trick Room. I was looking at the Glass Trio going, how does he set up Trick Room? But, yep. I've thought about it. Our Koko does have Taunt as well, so hopefully that can come into play. I imagine Swampit's a lead though, or if not, it's somewhere in the back. Yep. There's a Swampit lead. So it's more than likely it could be like Choice Scarf with Earthquake, I guess. Like, sure, you have to protect the Moltres here or switch out, right? Like, you can't just Dynamax in my face. I mean, I say that, but... I don't want to lose Regieleki immediately, if I can help it. If I can help it. And just Dazzle, I think, is fine. Okay. Bring in Big Sally. Yeah, there's a Protect. That makes sense. Just a Gleam. Earthquake, not a huge surprise. Alright, a lot of damage. Oh, it's Life Orb, okay. I'm not going to Dynamax turn 1. I think I'm just going to Giga Drain. Should be enough for a KO. And Thunderbolt the Moltres slot. Moltres could switch out here, yeah. But again, there's not a whole lot that wants to take an Electric Train boost with Thunderbolt. It's not going to do a huge amount, but, you know. It'll still do something to this Incineroar, which I will be very grateful for anyway. Okay. Yeah, that's some good, it's a crit, but still, that's some good damage. Did he just EQ himself? Are you serious? I'll take this. I'll take a dead Incineroar to lose my Tapu Koko. And Giga Drain should be a knockout. And if it is, Regieleki comes back in and puts in the absolute business. Okay. That is a dead Swampit. And the reason I didn't Dynamax and go for anything else, or even like a Max Grass, is because I wanted to keep my Electric Terrain. If you were wondering about that. So, since we know that there's a Moltres in the back. Just bring out your boy. Go to Moltres, and... yeah, okay. This is unfortunate. But I mean, Max Steel Spike KO'd it the last time, so I'm going to attempt to go for an Electro Web. They could also Dynamax their Regieleki, which is... yeah. The question is, like, if you're them, do you expect me to Dynamax my Regieleki? Actually, Dynamax the Moltres, okay. Alright. The problem is an Airstream will make it faster than... so we're relying on two things here. We're relying on our Regieleki outspeeding, which I don't think it will. And we're relying on it connecting Electro Web onto both. That is very, very important. We're also relying on Celesteela living a hit. Or two. Definitely two. It needs to take two. The Electro as well. This didn't do a lot to Celesteela. So we need to connect ours, please. Regieleki, my boy. Hey. And it didn't put it down to its thing. Nice. It's weakness policy, no! I knew it was weakness policy too. I should have rising voltaged. Oh crap, man. Okay. He didn't max Airstream though, so that's good. Ooh, it's hit my desk. Alright, we really need this Airstream to KO. Not Airstream, sorry, Steel Spike. I should have Airstreamed actually instead of Steel Spiking. I am silly. There's absolutely no benefit to me at spiking over Airstreaming. Because obviously the Moltres is special. Yeah. Alright, let's go Cinderace. The question is... do we bounce? We can Steel Spike. The benefit to bouncing is we potentially skip a turn. I feel like you have to target the Celesteela. Personally, because if you don't, you die. And two Iron Heads might just KO you. Potentially. It's two Iron Heads KO. You only just Dynamax, right? We're really relying on two Iron Heads KOing here. I understand this will put it into... actually, the benefit to not... yikes. Benefit to not doing that is to not activate Berserk. Max Darkness... is that Cinderace? Are you serious? Bro, this is a +2 Celesteela. That's the thing, I really didn't think they were going to target the Cinderace there. But, okay. They showed an utter lack of respect for my boy, and got put down for it. As it should be. Alright, awesome. So we did take an L in this this episode, but, you know, hey, we at least went positive, 2-1, not terrible. And in that game, I don't think there was any RNG in there that I remember, but... yeah, hey, we got to actually use Tapu Koko and Regieleki. Tapu Koko actually putting in the work that game too. Yeah, that's going to do us off for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day.